The first thing most people say when their cat walks between their legs is some version of "she wants to be fed." And honestly, that explanation makes sense on the surface. It usually happens in the kitchen. It happens around mealtimes. It happens when you're moving and she's underfoot. But here's where it starts to fall apart. Pay attention next time. She does it when she's already eaten. She does it when you're walking toward the bathroom, not the pantry. She does it when you come home from work before you've even set your bag down. The timing doesn't match the food theory nearly as well as people think it does. The second common explanation is that she's being clingy. Attention-seeking. That she just wants you to stop and pet her. And again, there's a grain of truth there. But think about it. If your cat simply wanted your attention, she has far easier ways to get it. She could meow. She could jump onto the counter in front of you. She could sit on your laptop, which she probably does anyway. Walking directly into the path of someone 10 times her size and risking being stepped on is not an efficient way to ask for a head scratch. Something else is going on. Then there's the third explanation, the shrug. Cats are just weird. People say this about a lot of cat behavior, and it's almost always wrong. Not because cats aren't unusual, but because that label closes the door on meaning. It assumes there's nothing to understand. And with this particular behavior, that assumption couldn't be more misplaced. Researchers who study free-roaming cat colonies have documented this exact motion between cats, and they didn't file it under random. They filed it under something very specific. In colony settings, places where groups of cats live together around shared food sources, scientists have observed that cats don't greet everyone the same way. Some cats are ignored entirely. Others get a cautious nose touch at best. But between certain cats, a particular kind of greeting happens. Two cats approach each other, and they press their bodies together, head against head, flank against flank, tail wrapping around tail. The full body. The entire length of them. It's not casual. It's not accidental. It's deliberate, and it has a name. Feline ethologists call it allo-rubbing. It's a social behavior, an affiliative one, meaning it's associated with positive bonds, not conflict or competition. And what makes it so significant is who does it with whom. Allo-rubbing doesn't happen between any two random cats who share a space. It happens between what researchers call preferred associates. That's the scientific term for cats who have chosen each other. Cats who rest together, groom together, and seek each other out. Not because they have to. Because they want to. Now think about what your cat does between your legs. Picture it in slow motion. She walks toward you. She presses the side of her face against your calf. Then her shoulder. Then her flank slides along your shin. Then her tail, the last thing to make contact, curls gently around the back of your leg as she passes through. Head, body, tail. In that order. That's not random movement. That is the exact allo-rubbing sequence documented in colony cats between bonded individuals. She's performing it on you. Most owners have no idea this connection exists. They see the behavior every day and interpret it through a human lens. She's hungry, she's bored, she's in the way. But when you understand what this motion means in her world, it stops being an inconvenience. It starts being a statement. One she makes deliberately, repeatedly, and almost always to the same person in the household. That detail matters more than most people realize, and it leads to something even deeper about what's happening in those 2 seconds between your ankles. Because the physical contact, the press of fur against skin, is only the first layer of what's taking place. Beneath the surface of that rub, something invisible is happening. Something chemical. And it's far more intimate than the word marking has ever been able to capture. To understand what your cat is really depositing on you when she walks between your legs, you have to look at what's hidden in her fur, and what she's trying to build with you that most people have never had a name for. Your cat's face is more complex than it looks. Along her temples, her cheeks, her chin, and the corners of her lips, there are clusters of tiny glands that produce pheromones, chemical signals designed to communicate information to other cats. These aren't the same pheromones associated with stress or territorial spraying. The glands around the face are classified by researchers as producing low-intensity, affiliative pheromones. In plain language, they're the friendly ones. The ones associated with comfort, trust, and social connection. When your cat presses the side of her face against your calf during that leg weave, she's activating those glands. She's leaving something on you. But it doesn't stop at her face. As her body continues past your leg, shoulder, ribs, flank, she's engaging a second set of scent glands along her sides. And when her tail curls around the back of your leg at the end, that's a third set at the base of her tail. Head, flank, tail. 3 separate gland clusters, activated in sequence, in one smooth pass. She's not just brushing against you because you're in her path. She's running a complete chemical circuit across your skin. Every part of that movement deposits something. And what she's depositing isn't a claim of ownership, despite what the internet tends to say. You've probably read some version of this explanation before: your cat is marking you as hers. It's the most common thing people say when they talk about cats rubbing against you. And while there's a fragment of truth buried in there, that framing misses the real function almost entirely. It reduces a layered social behavior to something possessive and one-directional. Your cat isn't stamping you with a label that says property of. What she's actually doing is something far more mutual, far more tender, and far more interesting than that. She's trying to make you smell like her world. In free-living cat colonies, researchers have observed that cats who regularly allo-rub develop what's described as a colony odor, a shared scent profile that builds over time through repeated physical contact. This communal scent allows colony members to recognize each other even in the dark. Even at a distance. Even after one of them has been away. It's not about dominance or territory. It's about identification. Belonging. When two cats carry the same scent, they're broadcasting a quiet signal to every other cat around them: we are together. We are the same group. We are family. That's what your cat is building with you. Each time she threads between your legs and drags her body along yours, she's blending her scent into your skin and picking up traces of yours on her fur. She's layering your identities together so that to her nose, which is roughly 40 times more sensitive than yours, you both carry echoes of each other. She isn't marking you. She's merging with you. She's constructing a shared invisible identity that says, in the only language she has, that you belong to the same world she does. There's a detail that makes this even more striking. Pay attention to when your cat does this most intensely. For most owners, the answer is the same: it's when you come home. When you walk through the door after being gone for hours. When you return from work or from running errands or from anywhere that isn't the space she lives in. Think about what that means from her perspective. You left. You walked through a world full of foreign scents, other people, other places, maybe even other animals. And you came back carrying all of it on you. To her, you don't smell right anymore. You smell like out there. So she meets you at the door, tail raised, and runs her whole body across your legs. She's not begging for dinner. She's restoring you. She's reapplying the colony scent. She's saying something remarkably specific: you were gone, and now you don't smell like us. Let me fix that. Think about what that means coming from an animal that so many people describe as indifferent. An animal that supposedly doesn't care whether you come or go. Here she is, waiting at the door, performing a complete scent-bonding ritual on you the moment you return, re-establishing your shared identity before you've even taken your shoes off. That is not the behavior of a creature who doesn't notice your absence. That is devotion expressed in a chemical language that most humans walk right through without ever feeling it beneath their feet. But there's still one more layer to this. One more piece of the behavior that happens before any of the rubbing begins, before her face touches your calf, before her flank grazes your shin, before her tail wraps your ankle. There's a single signal she gives in the moment she first sees you and begins to move toward you. It lasts less than a second. Most owners never consciously notice it. But feline behaviorists consider it one of the most telling social signals a cat can offer. And once you understand what it means, you'll realize she was already speaking to you before she ever made contact. Watch your cat the next time she walks toward you to begin that figure eight between your legs. Not her body. Not her face. Watch her tail. In the moment she decides to approach you, before she's close enough to touch, her tail rises. Straight up. Vertical. It might have a slight curve at the very tip, almost like a question mark, but the base and shaft go directly upward. It looks like nothing. It looks like just a tail in the air. But in the study of feline social behavior, that single posture is one of the most researched and most significant signals a domestic cat can produce. It has a specific name and a very specific meaning. Researchers studying cat colonies have documented that the tail-up posture is a signal of friendly, affiliative intent displayed upon approach. Not all cats show it. Not all approaches include it. It appears almost exclusively when a cat is moving toward another cat with whom it shares a positive social bond, a preferred associate, a family member, a trusted companion. Cats approaching unfamiliar cats don't raise their tails this way. Cats approaching cats they're in conflict with don't do it either. The tail-up is selective. It's voluntary. And it communicates something very clear: I am coming toward you with warmth. I trust you. You are safe to me, and I am telling you so before I'm even close enough for you to touch me. Your cat does this to you. Every time. Before the rub, before the scent exchange, before the full allo-rubbing sequence even begins, she has already declared her intent. She has already, in her own language, told you who you are to her. And she does it so quickly, so naturally, that most people never register it happening. They feel the body against their calf and think that's where the behavior starts. It doesn't. It starts with the tail. It starts with a silent announcement across the room that says, I see you, and I'm choosing to come closer. That decision, that voluntary movement toward you with her most visible social flag raised high, is the part of this behavior that carries the most emotional weight. Now put it all together. See the whole sequence for what it really is. She spots you across the room. Her tail rises, a declaration of trust and friendly intent. She approaches. Her face meets your calf first, pressing her cheek and temple glands against your skin, depositing the low-intensity, affiliative pheromones associated with comfort and social bonding. Then her shoulder and flank slide along your shin, engaging the scent glands along her sides, blending her scent with yours. Then her tail. The last to make contact, curls around the back of your leg, completing the circuit. 3 scent zones. 1 continuous, unbroken motion. Head, body, tail. In under 2 seconds, she has performed a full social bonding ritual that, in feral cat colonies, is reserved for her closest family. And she has performed it on you. If your cat does this with you but not with everyone in the house, or if she does it more intensely with you, more frequently with you, more urgently when you've been gone, that isn't coincidence. In colony dynamics, preferred associates are chosen. Not assigned. Not random. A cat selects who she greets this way. She selects who she shares her scent with. She selects who she merges her invisible identity with. And if you're the one she threads herself around every morning, every evening, every time you stand up from the couch, she has selected you. Repeatedly. Voluntarily. Without being asked and without expecting anything in return. There's one more thing worth sitting with. For a cat to walk directly between the feet of a moving human, someone who outweighs her by a factor of 15 or 20, is not without risk. She could be stepped on. She could be kicked accidentally. She knows this. Cats are acutely aware of spatial dynamics. They calculate distance and movement constantly. And yet she places herself directly beneath you, in the most physically vulnerable position she could choose, because her drive to perform this bonding ritual with you outweighs her instinct to stay safe. That willingness, to put herself at your feet, literally beneath you, where she could be hurt, is itself a measure of something that deserves a better word than clingy. It's trust so deep it overrides self-preservation. That's not a cat being in the way. That's a cat who feels so certain of your gentleness that she'll risk her body to be close to yours. So the next time you're walking to the kitchen and that small warm shape appears between your ankles, the next time you stumble and catch yourself and look down to find her already sitting 3 feet away, grooming a paw, remember what just happened. Remember what she said before she touched you. Remember what she left on your skin. Remember that in her world, that 2-second walk between your legs is the same gesture she would offer only to the cats she considers family. She offered it to you instead. And she'll do it again tomorrow. And the day after that. Not because she's hungry. Not because she's bored. Because to her, you are the one she chose. And every time you come home smelling like somewhere else, she will patiently, quietly, press herself against you until you smell like home again. If you've been stumbling over your cat for years and only now realize what she's been telling you, imagine how many other quiet signals she sends every day that you haven't decoded yet. If you want to keep learning her language, subscribe to this channel. And if this changed the way you see that little walk between your legs, leave a comment and tell her what you'd say back, if you could.